Good Thursday afternoon. Thanks for joining us on KARE 11 News Now. I'm Chris Harapsky. Happening right now, our weather team is extending our KARE 11 weather impact alert as more rain heads to the metro. Our weather team issues these alerts when weather can impact your plans in any way, shape, or form. The alert now runs through 6 o'clock tonight, and with things clearing up heading into the weekend. We'll check in with the weather team in just a little bit. Take a look at this. New video showing a potential tornado in southern Minnesota. A driver took this video of this twister as it crossed the road in front of her in Heartland. Law enforcement apparently saw this thing too. Weather officials received reports of damage to a barn. Crews will be on the ground today assessing the damage. New today, we're hearing from the wife of Vance Belter, the man accused of the shootings of House Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman, her husband Mark, and State Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette. In a statement released by the Hallberg Criminal Defense, Jenny Belter says she and her children express their deepest sympathies to the Hortman and Hoffmans and that they are praying for them daily. She also says they have been cooperating with law enforcement since they were first contacted by them. According to search warrants, Jenny Belter, quote, initially was not forthcoming with knowledge of her husband being involved in something serious, and later admitted to police that Vance Belter sent her ominous text messages about going to war and told her to leave town. Court papers say Jenny Belter waited for police in Onamia, where they found her car. In the car, they found a safe, the whole family's passports, 10 grand in cash and 2 guns, and was carrying out the family's so-called bailout plan as they were, quote, preppers who prepare for catastrophic incidents. But she has not been charged with a crime. You can read her full statement over at KARE11.com. Tomorrow, the public will honor Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman, her husband, and their beloved dog at the state capitol. And now we are learning more about Mark Hortman from his family. Most of them lived in North Carolina, where Mark grew up alongside his older brother and younger sister. Raya Katene spoke with Lee, Mark's brother, about his baby brother.
As heavy clouds loom above,
it's a very sad day.
Heavy hearts in here mirror the darkness out there.
Hi, how you doing?
Tonight's gathering is at the Coon Rapids Civic Center. A chance to stand together in honor of Melissa and Mark Hortman.
At the end of the day, love must win.
Coming together to reflect and unite.
It's difficult.
As the Hortman's family continues to mourn, some of them more than 1,000 miles away from Minnesota.
Obviously, we're a long ways apart. But we were pretty close.
Mark's older brother, Lee Hortman, is in North Carolina, where he and Mark grew up together, hunting and fishing, the two only a couple of years apart.
He was one of the best men I knew. That's the best way to remember him. He was a good man.
Mark Hortman, his brother says, was deeply loved, but it was his profound love for others that made him who he was. Never yearning for the spotlight and always there to support Melissa, the love of his life for more than 30 years, after the two met at a charity event in Washington, D.C.
If it wasn't love at first sight, it was love at second sight. Didn't take long. She hung the moon as far as Mark was concerned. Yeah, they were made for each other.
Perfect for one another and taken away together almost 2 weeks ago now, when Lee, his sister, and parents got the call.
No parent ever wants to have to bury their child. And they've got to do that. My dad said it's probably one of the hardest things he's ever done.
Now Lee says he and his family are leaning on their faith.
Without that, I don't know how I'd be able to go through this.
As people here lean on one another.
Raya Katene reporting there. New details today in those shootings as hundreds more pages of court documents are filed. According to newly unsealed subpoenas, Vance Belter was working at the University of Minnesota up until the shootings. A U of M spokesperson confirmed Belter had been a technician at the U of M eye bank since December. Part of his duties included removing eyes from the bodies of organ donors and preparing them for surgeries. The new court documents also say Belter turned off his cell phone right after the shootings, and someone found it the next day at Home Depot in Fridley. Belter's due back in court tomorrow unless he's indicted by a federal grand jury before then. Happening right now, the Department of Justice is suing Minnesota for offering in-state and free tuition to undocumented students. The lawsuit says the state's North Star Promise program discriminates against American citizens. Attorney General Keith Ellison's office said it is reviewing that lawsuit and will, quote, vigorously defend the state's prerogative to offer affordable tuition to both citizen and non-citizen state residents. Also new today, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth speaking out about the U.S. strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities. Hegseth read through several reports confirming 3 targeted facilities were heavily damaged by that attack. Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff Dan Kane also taking part in the briefing, saying the missiles used did their job.
But we also have an opportunity to stand at the podium and read the truth of what's really happening. And the reality is, you want to call it destroyed, you want to call it defeated, you want to call it obliterated, choose your word. This was an historically successful attack, and we should celebrate it as Americans, and it gives us a chance to have peace, chance to have a deal, and an opportunity to prevent a nuclear Iran.
All 6 weapons at each vent at Fordo went exactly where they were intended to go.
These assessments refute a preliminary report that said the attack was not as effective as the administration had touted. New today, the Supreme Court stepping in to block Planned Parenthood from suing South Carolina after the state pulled its Medicaid funding. It started because of a 2018 executive order that prevented Medicaid funding from the state's 2 Planned Parenthood clinics because they provided abortions. The governor there saying those payments meant taxpayers were funding abortions. That same order also blocked Planned Parenthood patients from receiving other services like birth control and cancer screenings. This decision could prompt other states to target Planned Parenthood's funding. Back at home, heads up if you're driving, well, anywhere in the Twin Cities this weekend. Sections of Interstates 94, 494, and 35W will be closed from tomorrow night to Monday morning. That will allow MnDOT to do some bridge work that's needed. These closures could make it a little tricky getting around, especially with Pride happening this weekend. We have information on the exact locations and the detours on KARE11.com. Happening right now, a new campaign's underway across Hennepin County targeting dangerous driving. The county attorney's office is partnering with several local safety groups for the campaign, which will include traffic safety events, school visits, and town halls, all focused on educating people about dangerous driving. Last year, there were nearly 480 traffic deaths in Minnesota, with 55 in Hennepin County alone.
For far too long, we have accepted driving fatalities as a way of life. And because of that, we've lost family members, neighbors, and friends. It's time that we work together to tackle this problem.
So far this year, the county attorney's office says it has charged 27 criminal vehicular homicide and operation cases, the most in 7 years. Big change coming to Minnesota roads in less than a week. Starting July 1st, lane splitting and filtering will be legal for motorcyclists, allowing riders to drive between lanes of slow or stopped traffic. Instructors say the new lane law provides riders a new, safe option, and they ask everyone on the road to look twice for motorcyclists. Days before the Twin Cities Pride Festival and parade filled the streets of Minneapolis, someone's been taking the streets of St. Paul, destroying signs of pride and solidarity. If this sounds familiar, it's because it is. A church in Golden Valley had their flag stolen twice in 1 month 11 years ago. 2 years ago, West St. Paul was the place where a Pride Grinch was at work too. This time, the destruction goes beyond a single home, with vandalism stretching across 2 St. Paul neighborhoods. Kent Erdahl has a story.
The dreary feeling in St. Paul Wednesday isn't limited to the rainy weather.
We found it just up the street. My assumption is that a knife was used to destroy it.
Kelly Sofio says this rainbow flag used to be intact.
He cut it.
And flying with pride outside her family's home to show support for the LGBTQ community until Tuesday.
I was just brushing my teeth in the morning. I looked down and I saw something in our front yard, and I said, "What the heck is that?" And then I said, "Oh no, it's the flagpole."
A quick check of her Ring camera filled in the rest. Just after 1 a.m., a masked man climbed her steps and destroyed her flag and sense of safety in seconds.
It just felt terrible. It just felt hurtful and invasive, and then pathetic.
And it felt even worse after sharing the video with neighbors.
Everybody replied and said, I don't think you're the only one.
The pole had been taken down, broken into pieces, and our flag had been shredded into 3 pieces.
Sarah Cooper was one of several people in the Mac Groveland neighborhood with similar stories, right down to the way the poles and flags were destroyed, though Sarah's home was also vandalized with spray paint.
Just kind of next level vandalism, so aggressive.
St. Paul police have now taken 16 reports of damaged pride flags in Mac Groveland and neighboring Highland Park neighborhoods. It's also investigating vandalism on consecutive nights at Half Price Books, where someone spray painted the word groomer and smashed windows outside an LGBTQ book display.
This person has some anger and some issues. I hope that the police can get this person and stop them at a point where it's only property damage.
Though even if they don't, it won't stop Kelly from flying a new flag outside her home.
This doesn't scare me. This makes me want to respond.
And she's not alone in that.
You can shred it, and I will put it back up, because hate can't win.
Which is why Sarah and her neighbors have created an online fundraiser to raise flags all over the neighborhoods.
We're hoping to raise $2,000 or so to buy 100 flags from queer-owned businesses and artists to distribute to people who would like to hang them.
That would be amazing. Yeah, we need more allies, and I think especially in Pride Month, we need more of the rainbow out there.
Especially at such a dreary time.
I think this will have more of a snowball effect and more of a positive than he would have anticipated.
Ken Hurdahl reporting there. St. Paul police are asking everyone in the Mac Grove and Highland Park neighborhoods to check surveillance and ring cameras in the early morning hours of Monday and Tuesday to see if they caught anything that can help them with the investigation. In the meantime, both neighborhoods now have groups that will supply and distribute signs and flags to show solidarity. Stick with us. We got more news, lots more weather. It's coming up after the break.